my cat! Oh my cat!
Please let go. Issa and John debunking flat earth lies, showing curvature beneath the digital skies. They're proving globes, the signs crystal clear, when a sudden frantic yelp assaults the ear. A wrestling match right in the camera frame. The nose biter's back, it's always the same. Oh my cat, he's biting, he's clinging, he won't let go. Right there on his nose, putting on a show. Max screams out loud, disrupting the flow.
Welcome. I am such a noob. Cat is messing with my green screen. I fumbled the music, but I think you can hear me now. Hello, welcome. How is everyone doing? What a conversation. What a thing. It was awesome. Loved it. Jesse is a true Bamf. A true Bamf. So, let's get the collaboration cam online and generate a link. Copy that. And we'll get you set up. There we go. Oh. I need to swap my account. Give me just a moment. I'm such a noob. I'll probably end up going back to StreamYard because it was so good. I think it was so much easier to do it like that. Change the account. YouTube, what are you doing to me? Oh, there we go. Shut up, Amate. No! All the problems on the start of the stream. There we go. Join. And we are right off into the races. Cat, you can't do that. You freaking feline. All right, we have that. Let me get this up so that we can start the after show. I hope everyone is doing awesome. How much did you like that the debate, conversation, whatever you want to refer to that? DPD Bank says I'd love to jump on this one, but I'll leave to the smart folk. I gotta do all the work I missed jumping on streams yesterday. Ooh, that does happen a lot. Calder Rasol asked if he could be the first wrench. We'll get that sorted in no time. Oh, Sea Lion, we have a little bit of noise. There we go. Thank you. We already have Sea Lion. It's a black square there. My green screen is all messed up. Sea Lion, can you hear me? And could we do a sound check? Please.
Testing.
Perfect. Me says your sound doesn't sound too good. Yeah, I know. This, for some reason, this has a lower volume in general. I saw you there, Sea Lion Prime, tearing your hair out. I'm surprised that you still have any left.
Well, I was blessed with a lot of thick hair, as it happens.
Thanks
to my heritage. So I had plenty to give up.
That is cool. someone says I'm low. I'll just bump up the gain for a moment. Edit filters. Let's do 8. How about now? Can you hear me better? People
A little
in the
bit better.
chat. Right. But yeah, we'll probably do. We'll probably go back to StreamYard at some point after this month because it's not working too good. It's cheaper, but it's not as good. Who do we have in the background? Ooh, Brenda.
Brenda.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's difficult. This Streamlabs is it's weird on my end. I don't. It says I have a camera going, but I don't.
Yeah, it just puts a black square. It doesn't have like a picture. So yeah, we'll probably end up going at some point. I just wanted something cheap to start, but the community has stepped up and already helped me out so much with donations and so on. So we'll probably go back right to that. Brenda has a slight echo. Damn it!
Echo?
No, yeah, I have.
I
don't know
I have
why.
echo cancellation on.
I don't know why, because I redid the configuration and yeah, I'll probably end up going back to StreamYard sooner than I hoped. It's expensive, but it just works so good. All right. How are you guys doing? Are you having a good night? Did you enjoy that debate?
I was having a good night until I had to listen to. There's a joke I can make here. Well, actually, no, that's probably improper. But it was just painful hearing Heffron's discussion of statistics and the null hypothesis.
Oh,
I mean, the thing is, I just want to make this point. The reason that we do a null and alternative hypothesis, the only reason that we do that is for the purposes of statistical testing.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to make a null and alternative hypothesis, you make a statement about an attribute of the population, and then, oh, hey, Jesse, and then you test it. So in this case, they've done the null hypothesis, and then they say, well, the results match flat Earth, so we can't reject the null hypothesis. It doesn't make any sense. It's not how you do it. Just and I want to say at the beginning too, on a more positive note, and I think Jesse did a good job as well on Stream emphasizing this, that I do think that Heffron was pretty civil. And I think that it's good that Alan had agreed to that event, disastrous as it was for him. But it's like the whole reason you do a null hypothesis is to get a statistic and get a p-value. It was like in the debate that MCToon had with them, where they were like talking about this null hypothesis. And
we hear you, Brenda.
We hear you. Yes.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
And then Chun is like, well, you don't always need a null hypothesis. And Alan's like, well, MC2 said that it doesn't matter if you can falsify something. It's like, no, that's not what he said.
Let me check. Can everyone... Is the echo gone? Someone give me a sound check, please. Because I think I found it.
Testing. Can
everyone hear in the audience in the chat there? Mm-hmm. And yes, we have Toon in the house. Is that better? Because I think it's double. It's desktop. It's pushing my desktop audio, so it gets the sound doubled. I think that should fix it. John, how you doing? Yes, fixed. Awesome. Yes, we probably will. But I fixed it. No echo. All right. That's weird, yeah. Oh, no sound. Okay, John is muted. 1 second. I can fix very easily. This is probably not going to work for for the purposes of John, your cam 5. Okay, fixing it.
By the way, I was in fact farming XP, and I got several thousand XP while I was listening to it.
Yes, but I was king all night.
I don't know if I missed it while I was running to get my laptop and whatnot, but has anybody dealt with the complete and total butchering of the concept of a null hypothesis yet?
Oh,
We were just talking about that, yeah.
Oh, good.
I mean, the thing that I was emphasizing, because it came up in the MDD debate as well, is it's like they're making this big deal out of a null hypothesis, but then they don't do anything with it. So it's like completely, they don't have a statistic, they don't have a test stat, and then they're saying like, he kept saying all these weird things about it, and then he's like, well, you have different ways of testing a null hypothesis, and one of them is to throw out the outliers and go in the middle. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? She's like, what are you talking about?
That's not
what he kept saying all.
This is a person who has just Googled null hypothesis, and they've picked up on one salient point, which is essentially it's the mean for their error bars. That's what they think it is. But that's not the whole point of a null hypothesis. Is that there's no statistical inference in the data to either demonstrate or not demonstrate your initial hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the notion of like if you feed a plant, if you water a plant with ionized water, with deionized water or distilled water, can you detect any difference in growth rate between two plants? That would be a statistical, not being able to detect the difference in growth rate would mean that that becomes a null hypothesis. It's such and for him to start off going, well, actually, my null hypothesis is that not globe, and then for him to cherry pick his data moving forward from there. That his description of the null hypothesis is a tacit acknowledgement that he's cherry picked his data. And then when he was going on saying, well, I couldn't identify those stars, so I swapped in these two stars instead. I'm like, well, hang on a minute.
He also claimed that he wasn't the cherry picker and his data was randomly selected, but there is no evidence of the things being randomly selected.
I don't think he knows what random means either when he's dealing with statistical data sets or data sets.
Oh, are we talking about Alan or the doctor?
Well, Heffron is the expert that they're deferring to. So if Heffron, we're talking about Heffron, so Alan being downstream of the one that doesn't understand makes things a little bit worse for Alan.
Yeah, but he should know these things, right? I mean, he said he had a bachelor's in computer science.
He said he had a PhD in computer science.
I thought he said master's.
His bachelor's somehow had electrical engineering in it. But I think it was his master's and PhD that was in computer science.
Well, what does happen is people will take a number of classes in a field, and then discover either that they want to switch majors or something like that, and that they just continue on in that department, and the department will say, yeah, you can go ahead and pursue your BS degree in computer science, even though you're in electrical engineering, the engineering department, and stuff like that. They just let that happen because it's just, I suppose, I don't know exactly why. We need a new abbreviation for Bachelor of Science, because in the context of talking about this, when you say BS degree, it's
Yes.
That's true. Also a lot of companies were sniping students, or for computer science, because the jobs were in high demand. Sorry, Sea Lion.
Did you guys catch, in relation to his claims about his dissertation, did you guys catch his ridiculous assertion about the different levels of confidence that are sufficient for high-quality dissertations? It's just complete fantasy. He's like, well, in order to have a PhD dissertation, you need at least 95% confidence. What, in all fields? Like, if I'm doing mathematics, like I need 95%. It doesn't make any sense. And then he's like, "Oh well, a good dissertation is 99%, and I'm 6 sigma in my measurements." Which,
so this is going to be my question. Was he referring to the sigma scale, which, I mean,
so what he's saying, what my best understanding of it is that he's saying that in order to get a dissertation, you have to have as part of your dissertation a statistical analysis that is at least 95% confidence level.
No, that doesn't.
That's complete fantasy.
Yeah, but also like it depends what field of study you're talking about. Like, how do you apply? Like, if you've got a PhD in some sort of like social science, how do you ascribe that confidence? I mean, if we're talking about like a dissertation in mathematics, then one field is deductive and one field is inductive. How the hell do you how do you apply that scale? I mean, obviously we're talking about like geometry here, and we're talking about like to a degree astrophysics and just mathematics. So with what we're discussing here, that there is going to be an objective confidence that we can apply to it. Either the maths jives or it doesn't. Notwithstanding fucking about with the inputs on a piece of software that clearly seems to function if you don't mess with it.
Well, that's the other thing too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
Is there a difference between celestial refraction and terrestrial refraction? Because I'm under the impression that it's just the same. It's refraction.
Yeah.
They seem to think it was a different kind of refraction.
They don't understand the topic generally, so they take the concepts that are talked about in different fields and think that they are different things, but it's all refraction. Terrestrial. When they talk about terrestrial, they're talking about something on the ground to something else on the ground, or something local. Where then when you talk about celestial refraction, you're talking about something that's outside of the atmosphere of the Earth.
Yeah, so you need to when we talk refraction occurs when photons travel between two mediums. So obviously we've got the vacuum of space, which isn't. I mean, it is a vacuum. There are things that can affect the path of photons. We've got things like gravitational lensing, which can appear to have which does have a refractive effect. It changes the angle of the light in relation to the observer, or the photons in relation to the observer. And then you'll get refraction as the photons pass through the atmosphere. And then obviously we've got our atmosphere is a fluid, and we've got different air pressures over different altitudes, which will obviously have a refractive effect. But that refractive effect is nominal. It does make a difference, but as it's not massive, I would say.
What about if you're wearing night vision goggles that are capturing the photons before they would normally hit your eye?
Eric E, Master of Flat Earth, for some people that are wondering, tracked down Heffron's dissertation involved running thousands of simulation experiments.
Found it?
Well, Steeline, in relation to your question, I realised that was a jokey question, but as Max knows, I don't. When something's a joke, I tend to engage with it seriously. It actually depends, because I use night vision and thermal scopes and things, because I do quite a lot of small game hunting and stuff like that. So it depends on the type of night vision that you're using. If you're using obviously it captures the photon, several inches before your eye, and then it's passed through a digital medium. I'd be interested to know what the basis of the night vision technology was, whether it was like a starlight camera that was just amplifying the existing photons, or whether it was something that was using like an IR torch or something like that, which is a different technology entirely.
Well, it gives you a jump on the deer, because you can see the deer before the light hits your eye.
Yeah. It's basically time travel. Toon, let me ask you a couple of questions. How did you maintain your composure throughout the whole thing and didn't just jump at the screen?
Well, I know Jesse well.
Oh.
And I know that he is absolutely spectacular, and he knows his stuff. and that he had it handled very well. And so I was quite content to let him do it, and I was just, for the most part, a host. At the end, I was conveying messages from the audience to especially to Michael and somewhat to Alan, but about the questioning of the methodology. So,
And Jesse, you know,
Jesse was pretty nice. He wasn't pressing that, but I mean that's obviously what's going on there. Methodology is trash.
Yeah, methodology seems to be like really bad. And Jesse knows I'm a big fan of all of his work, and I love his niceness and how he just destroys the flirs with a smile and a nice attitude. It is amazing to see. I'm a little bit envious sometimes because I can't be that good.
What did you, with respect to the methodology, MCToon, what did you make of the claim where he said, well, obviously, you know, this particular peak is further away, so my data looks as though it's more conducive to the globe Earth model than the flat. The distance to the peak, should still track in the same direction if your methodology makes sense. If your methodology is correct, the distance of the peak from the observer, whilst it will have an impact on the output of the data, it shouldn't have an impact on the bloody conclusion. The conclusion should still be the same. You're still dealing with the same geometry, the same mathematics.
It was super telling when they refused to do a measurement.
Well, the other thing too,
just acknowledge if the methodology is good, then every single observation will be fine.
Yeah, like reciprocal zenith angles, they work from the top of a mountain to the top of another mountain. You get the correct results every single time. DPD1 says, also big fan of Jesse's works, loved him in Roadhouse. Jesse, how much work has it been for you? Because I know that you don't just use Stellarium, which, as for me, as a layman, you start telling me that you got the angles from Stellarium or from any other Globe software. It's like, okay, Globe confirmed. We're done here, right? How much work was this for you?
Jesse's not here, man.
Jesse's not here?
No, he dropped out.
Yeah, he had to go eat. But I would say that based on my experience with Jesse and his measurements, more work than any reasonable person would put into debunking something, executed with a high level of precision. But I did want to just quickly say, though, the other thing I think that's really telling is that this was supposed to be a discussion of the methodology, and they only wanted to talk about whether you could refute their null hypothesis or not, assuming that the methodology worked. Am I right? Like, that's what they kept coming back to was, well, you didn't disprove the null. You didn't disprove the null. And it's like, well, you said it well at the end, Mike. You're like, well, the measurement tape is broken. How are we going to prove anything if we've just shown that the measuring tape is broken?
Yeah. And they didn't want to acknowledge that possibility. Like, you, as if you never could question the methodology of a null hypothesis test. Of course you can question the methodology. You always can. So here's what it looks like to me. I think it's like it took a tape measure and there was an error in printing, and instead of inches, it wrote centimeters. Right? So every inch you think it's a centimeter. But also, the zero was wrong. It went to the negative numbers some distance. And so now you've got this tape measure that starts at negative 666 centimeters. It's actually inches. And then you start measuring with it. And you're like, oh, look, we measured this. Therefore, null hypothesis. Well, wait a second. Your tape measure is wrong. Never mind the tape measure. You didn't talk about the null hypothesis.
That's a great analogy. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
So that was a
Yeah,
great
I saw
analogy.
you. I saw you also were having a hard time processing everything that was happening. So go right ahead, rant on.
Oh, no worries. I was in and out because I was doing a whole bunch of things at home, but I think I caught like 70% of what happened. So I think that was a great analogy, MC Toon, about uh, the tape measure and also the dice, right? So if you roll dice and then if it shows up less than 3, you say it's flat, greater than 3, you say it's a globe. Now that's not a valid method, and you can't test any kind of hypothesis with a method like that. So I actually had a couple of things to share about the method itself. I don't know if answers were provided when I was not there. But number one, I think refraction is a big factor, and I think that has to be accounted for. So the method is sensitive to refraction, especially with small angles they were trying to measure. Number two is the simultaneity is important. So you need to be able to precisely time the time at which you measure the star.
Yeah.
And if your timing is off by a microsecond or I don't know, millisecond or something, you could make a big difference in the angle. We can calculate how much that would be. And something like reciprocal zenith angles are not sensitive to that timing. So that's a so if an external factor like time or refraction, even if one of them causes dents your measurement, that's pretty significant. Now you've got two factors denting your measurement. There could also be other things. I was even thinking of whether the speed of light would come into factor. I don't think so, but for something like this, you probably need to make all the calculations. They were pretty sloppy about this. And finally, for somebody who was saying null hypothesis every 30 minutes
Oh,
or
wow.
more frequently than that, uh, you need to do statistical significance tests. And without that, you cannot tell if the effects were because of chance or because of a real effect. So I think there were
Yeah, well
multiple
said.
ways in which they were flawed.
Yeah, well
Yeah, you
said.
know-
Emphasizing the last one
Yeah.
there.
As a layman, that was my other thought. You would need something like a Formula One chronograph that measures to a thousandth of a second. In order
No, I
to
don't-
get
I don't think
meaningful
so.
things.
When Jesse did his measurements, he had an external clock to right. He had audio, I think, in there. I
Yeah, he
don't
did.
know how Heffron got the clock correct because he took a frame every second or something like that, right? But if you're if you set your clock to the minute, well, you can be off plus or minus 30 seconds, right?
Right.
How correct was that? Because the position of the stars in the sky are need to be as precise as your measurement of time, and we know very precisely where the stars are in the sky. So I don't know if it's good or not, but I don't know if he clarified that either.
Well, it's just another little grey area that needs clarifying with the methodology. The criticism here is all about the methodology that's being used, and certainly as you, not you, MC2, the person before you who was speaking a second ago, somebody who drops null hypothesis into the conversation every few minutes, but doesn't seem to have a grasp of what that means with regards to the statistical inference. I wouldn't say that you can just disregard them out of hand, but it's certainly getting close to it. I can take the colloquial use of the word proof in these discussions. I really don't like the use of things like statistical terms like null hypothesis, which have a very prescribed meaning, being bastardized.
Yeah, they don't like words used correctly. I have a question from Jack Fetter says, Toon, is Jesse the one that used data from a GeoSat to show a time-lapse of Earth? Forget what he was trying to show from space. Does that ring a bell?
It does not ring a bell.
I can't rule it out, though, because Jesse has done such an insane number of tests that it wouldn't surprise me. Well, one other thing that I had a question on, though, not to change topic there, but my whole understanding, and I got to admit, this is just such an excessively overcomplicated method for something that doesn't even end up working in the end. But like the whole thing was that they were turning off refraction and stellarium, right? But like Heffron said, for sure, I have to go back and listen again, several times, conceded that refraction was a factor, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but he also said that flat Earth doesn't. His or their flat Earth measurements didn't use refraction, right? Didn't need it, or something
Yeah,
like that.
I was confused as to what he actually said because I heard him mention refraction a few times, and it seemed like a contradiction, but perhaps I misheard.
Well, I mean, you're asking something that occurred to me at the time, and I don't think you're deviating at all. Again, I think it points back to some of the inbuilt assumptions. So, for example, we obviously have to account for refraction on a globe Earth model because, we're essentially a pressurized container floating around in space within a vacuum. So we've got light traveling through different mediums. We all operate in our day-to-day lives as though our line of sight is a straight line, but frankly, it's just not. So we have to account for it when we're doing these incredibly precise and very, very small deviation in error measurements. But how do you not account for refraction on a flat Earth? How can refraction not be an issue on a flat Earth when almost all flat Earth people? But where all flat Earth people are, state that we live under this God-imbued celestial dome. I mean, I assume there's some sort of transition from one medium to another here. Surely refraction applies there. Refraction.
I have had flat earthers tell me, like not discussing this, but discussing the the oil platforms, that since the light is traveling from the oil platform to your eye and it's going through the medium of air, there's no refraction because it's not going through two mediums.
So then what is causing the wavy cranes? No
Yes,
idea.
the crane that is straight looks like a freaking S on that picture. It's
But
lovely.
there's quite a few flat earthers that will tell you that if it's going through the air, that's one medium. It has to go through two. Right? They don't understand that the density of the air matters.
Well, of course, the density of the air matters, but also the human eye doesn't function without refraction. But you've got another medium. It's the vitreous humor, the fluid within your eyeball before the light.
The human eye is the human eye is the flat Earth main instrument. I see it, it looks good. That's good enough for me.
Well, they often they talk about photographs and videos and then talk about the human eye. Like that was not taken with the human eye. They can't even keep that straight.
My personal favorite when it comes to that kind of derping regarding vision and that kind of stuff is like curved visual space. It's like that means that I wouldn't be able to see a straight line ever. That doesn't work. It's selective. It applies whenever you want, but if I look at the edge of my laptop, it's straight. But curved visual space, so flat Earth, no sense at all.
Well, I think the thing that they were saying too, which is it really is a variation on the Canigoo thing, and I can't believe they're still saying this, is because it's based on misunderstanding of how vision works. Sorry. Is that if you can't see the star, it's not refracting anymore. But like, you're still seeing. Light is still reaching your eyes. There is still refraction. Like, it's not like there's this magical dark light that creates shadows and that's what you're seeing. Like, it's just, oh.
So my response to, sorry, can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, sir.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
In relation to the Canigoo or any of those mountains or tall buildings, etc., that are seen, those buildings and mountains are only seen very rarely. So Canigoo, I think, is seen in that particular manner twice a year. So if you figure out that, or whatever, small amount.
That's not quite right, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, well, it's not seen every day all the time. So if you look at what portion of the year it is seen, it's probably a small fraction. So if it's not seen the entire time, that means some other factor is at play, and that's got to be refraction. So that's my argument against that. Sorry, Toon, go ahead.
So you can see it, but the thing that's notable is that the sun is directly behind Canigoo on those particular days. But on days where it's not directly behind it, you can still see it. It's just not as obvious because it's not silhouetted. But days ahead, days after, you can still see it. And on a clear day, if there isn't much haze, you could see it. There's still
Gotcha.
the
Back
line of sight.
on.
The nuance. Sorry, my query was going to be like this argument. This entire debate just seemed like an exercise in deception. It seemed to be designed as much as there was a technical aspect to it, which Jesse obviously dealt with quite well. It just seems like an exercise in gobbledygook to try and convince people who don't know any better, and that sounds like a horrendously arrogant thing to say. But frankly, there was just a lot of nonsense coming from the flat Earth side here, and absolutely none of it deals with, like, even if there was some merit to like point out, like Jesse, this solarium model, it doesn't quite jive with the globe Earth here, and actually it could line up better with the flat Earth here because of this insert whatever technical reason. I don't give a shit about any of that. I can refute the flat Earth model with the planes of rotation, like looking at the stars. I don't need any of this technical information at all. It seemed like an over technical exercise.
Wait. Slow down there, sport. You didn't talk about the null hypothesis. You couldn't just.
Yeah, of course.
I love how, remember on your debate with Alan and Glowy on MDD, the mantra was mutually exclusive. Today, the mantra was the null hypothesis, and the following week, the mantra will be some other like random kind of a thing.
Well,
I love that.
You notice how they didn't complete the logical principle either. They were saying it was mutually exclusive, but they did, it needs to be jointly exhaustive as well for us to come to a conclusion here. Otherwise, there's like a third, fourth, fifth, and sixth potential option. We're talking about two potential options. It's either fucking sphere or it's flat. Pick one.
Give me 1 second. Jack Fetter asks, since your channel is still on food stamps and I can super chat, what method can I send my usual stripper cash so you can dance for me? Give me just a second. I'll give you the link. But yes, I am on the record as being bribable and dancing for money. Yes, and the culprit is right there.
Dance monkey, dance.
Yes, that was.
Obviously, I don't want to deviate too much, but
we'll get to that. We'll cover the debate, and we'll get to that a little bit later for some of the people that may not know about it, and we can all give our thoughts. But yeah, we'll address it a little bit down later.
Honestly, I was waiting for you to initiate, Max, but it's purely because you mentioned that, and I know the money doesn't matter to you in terms of you sort of like you've shrugged and let it go, but I'm a bit annoyed.
I understand. Yeah, we'll come back to that later. I did ask Toon to ask Dr. Mike if he could use his method with the Southern Crux. A little wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Now, of course, their whole method is about looking at the height of the mountain. So,
it isn't. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike. Sorry to beat you interrupt, but isn't this whole methodology predicated on stellarium being correct, which is admission that the Earth is a globe? Or am I misunderstanding?
I don't know. The problem is that they're still using the globe. So they're like, oh yeah, this confirms their the null hypothesis, but it does it match other things outside of this very narrow scope? Of course not, because stars couldn't appear to set they do in that video. The geometry doesn't work for flat Earth. Never mind that.
So I might have missed it, but how are they calculating the distance? Because obviously, you need your observable distance from the physical object that's causing the occlusion, and then also you need the physical distance from the point of the observer and the point of the object that's causing the occlusion to the object that you're observing, in this case the star. How the hell are they getting that measurement? How do they calculate that on the basis of a flat Earth? Where the hell does that data come from?
The celestial sphere is a sphere that's an indeterminate distance away, treated as an infinite distance away, right? But yeah, they didn't test and then put together the null hypothesis for the flat Earth model of where the stars are at all. So never mind that. But they also didn't compute the distance between the observer and the mountain using the flat Earth distance. They used the Haversine formula distance. So once again, they agree the Earth is a globe by using that distance. If they're going to compute the elevation of the mountain that flat Earth predicts, you also must use the polar distance formula, not the Haversine formula.
Yeah. So my understanding here is that for things that are local to us, sort of local to us in this context is somewhere within 100 to 200,000 light years. Then we can use trigonometry based on the angle to the observed object when our planet is and the position of our planet as it orbits the sun, because you end up with the 3 data points that are required in order for you to calculate the distance using trigonometry. But anything beyond that distance, then you need to use lumens, candles, and that gives you a distance calculation based on the intensity of the light source, essentially. But all of that seems to and again, I don't want to misrepresent the person who seemed to be arguing for the flat Earth position here, but since a lot of them seem to state that no, there's a dome and these are just sort of lights in the sky, they're not actually. How I don't understand how any of that applies. Their entire argument requires you to engage or presuppose the globe Earth in order to get the data that he's using to test the computer model that we use to calculate geometry within a globe Earth model.
Yeah. So his answer will be, and he's right to an extent, right? But they're testing the globe. And the null hypothesis then, right, the globe failed, therefore the null hypothesis is what kicks in. So they're washing their hands of the necessity of actually doing something or showing that something matches flat Earth, right? The 1 million different ways that they could do the same test, flipping globe and flat, right? Yeah. Testing flat Earth predictions and finding they don't work. They don't want to do that. So this is their way to say, well, we don't need to test. We don't need to have a model.
Well, so right. this is essentially it's one of the most rudimentary and fundamental tests that you do. Anything like an equal sign is communicative. This should work in both directions, and they're refusing to test it in the reverse direction, knowing full well that they're not going to get a corroboration. It's going to spit out nonsense.
Leo Phileas says, holy shit, is that British John? I haven't seen him on camera before. No, he is the first time appearing. So yeah.
In fairness, I have been on camera before on the old channel way back when. But I just honestly, I'm literally sat here in my dressing gown because it's 5:45 in the morning for me, and I've been waiting for Max. It's 3:30. Damn it!
Yes.
Don't you need a cigar? Don't you need a cigar and some scotch?
There you go.
In fairness, it's my first time on Max's new channel, so as the Englishman / Irishman, I am sat here having a 5:30 in the morning beer. So
the way that it should be.
Tab.
Who needs coffee? Who needs coffee? Am I right?
So Max, that I've got my alien mug here. Video coming out tomorrow on Conspiracy Tunes. Right.
Oh yeah.
How many mugs do you have, by the way?
Got a lot. They're all hung up there. So hold on a second.
Got a mug collection
to celebrate, Max.
Oh yeah, Toonshine. Cheers. I'll do the toast with my mate, because why not? It's like almost 2 a.m. for me, and I'm drinking caffeine.
I'm not gonna have much.
we're all having beers to celebrate the first sort of after show
Right.
on
Yes.
Max's new channel with a guy who doesn't drink.
Ah, yes. Cheers, everyone. There will be for more after
Cheers
shows.
anyway, Max.
Thank you all for being here. Toon, the audience, the support, and I think it's a nice pivot. We can do a little parenthesis and address the elephant in the room. So you may know, Matters Now is no more. I will be posting. I did an explanation video. If you have questions now, if you know the situation and have questions, I'm willing to answer everything, but I'll do a brief summary of what happened. So basically, Ozian had been absent for like 8 months. And then one day we started getting messages. He basically gave us little drops of story and we had to piece it together. He told us that he was in a halfway house and his description initially was that he tried to help someone and got caught on an entrapment scheme, right? And I was like, what is that? What does that mean? But well, I was focused on doing streams and so on. So it's like, okay, he'll probably give me more details afterwards. Isa, Dr. J, and I kind of wondered, but we didn't make much of it. We kind of thought maybe someone got him to buy drugs for them and he got arrested. Seemed like something that could have happened. Now, not too long ago, I think on the 29th, because of trying to micromanage the channel, he told me, we should change the thumbnails, shared his Canva project to me, and I found his last name. Of course, I went searching and I found reportings that he got caught on a sting operation of people trying to, of those people who try to do things with people not of age. So, got caught, convicted, and went to jail. This all goes way back to November 2023. So it had all been a lie since the beginning, and new stuff keeps popping up. Like, for example, purchasing subscriptions. With no content on the channel, it went from 11,900 to 12,600 with zero content because all the content is private.
So I first noticed this, it was probably about 24 hours ago. Literally, as I went to the channel expressly to subscribe, as I hit the unsubscribe button, it jumped from 11.9 to 12,000. And now it's on 12.6, and we're less than like 12 hours later or 16 hours later. So,
and the latest
he's got one video up that's visible at the moment. It's 2.5 minutes long, and it's AI generated like Earth Mother bullshit.
Yes, and of course the comments are turned off. So it's bad. But well, I did a video. I didn't go out until I was trying to keep the channel first. So I was firm but tactful. I sent him a letter. I talked with Dr. J and Isa. We kind of saw that we were all on the same page. Talked with Dr. J and Isa, drafted a letter, sent it over to him. My goal was to try to keep the channel because it had about a year's worth of work. And people had it started growing organically, and people had more people were joining more people in the side chat, and it was getting better and better each time. And that's why I wanted to keep it. So when he said no, well, he didn't actually said no. He started the transfer to me, then canceled it, started the transfer to Isa, then canceled it again, and then sent us an email that the gift of the channel was rescinded, but we had offered to buy it for $1,000, which very gracefully Dr. J. Anissa would have volunteered and loaned me the money to actually purchase it, but he said no. So I drafted, I went live and explained it, and yes, things broke down from there. So here we are. We started the channel. The support has been unreal from everyone in the community, both financially to help the channel get kickstarted, and also the amount of messages of love and support. I can't thank anyone enough. So all of you who are there in the side chat, I love you so much. Let me say hello to Leo, who just came in, and if you have any thoughts, I know that you were on the previous stream that we did on the intro stream, Leo. Anything else you would like to say regarding that? Welcome.
Yeah, I initially wasn't going to join this after show because I didn't really pay much attention to that debate. It was hard. There was just a lot of gibberating, and I didn't know what the fuck it meant. But then
Good word, by the way.
I
like that.
Yeah, it was said that this is your first after show, and the minute I heard that, I'm like, okay, well, I got to be on the first after show. I can't not be on the first after show. That just doesn't make any sense. Also, I just went and checked. So he's going to do AI slop related to climate change, it looks like. And I also notice, the subs did go up because they weren't past 12K. But you'll also notice that the channel still has 61,669 views, which means that all he did was just hide all of the other videos. He didn't delete anything, specifically to keep the view count and the watch hours and all of that stuff. Not that, like, it's not okay to do that in some instances, but then there's other instances where it's like, that's a little shitty, maybe? Well, I don't know.
I mean, this kind of, to a degree, Max, this sort of ties in a little bit to obviously the email exchanges that we've been having about it.
Yes.
A big part of the reason why, well, long story short, essentially what I offered to Max was that on his behalf, I would buy all of the content off of Ozian, as distasteful as it was to hand this pederast more money. I would potentially buy the content from the last 8 months and give it to Max. The reason being is that then he would potentially be able to incorporate it into his new channel. But selfishly, another reason for me offering to do that is I find it really, really, really uncomfortable that there is probably getting on for a couple of 100 hours of me now directly associated with this asshole on the internet. And I'm not anonymous. As much as it says Dad knows best, I don't hide my identity. I have nothing to hide. If somebody wanted to link me to this cunt, they.
By the way, you are British John, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
You are the John that appears in the show, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So the reason for that is obviously wanting to.
Max, are you just randomly dropping people?
No. I don't know if it's that they drop themselves or they get dropped. Yeah. No.
Yeah, something goofy is going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll probably go back.
Well, Max is goofy, so it might be him.
That's true.
Yes, I probably go back to StreamYard very soon.
Streamlabs is nice, but you got to know Streamlabs, and it's not like as difficult as OBS Studio is to learn, but there is still a curve to it. And StreamYard is just very streamlined. It's very basic, you know.
Yeah, but it's powerful.
It's the minimum that you need to do relatively high quality streams on like YouTube. I think you can even do like Twitch, maybe Instagram. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's powerful. So, and I had already figured out, hotkeys. I had it kind of nailed down. So yeah, we'll probably go back to that.
There's no substitute for familiarity at the end of the day. Even if one product is better than the other, it's the familiarity that you have with it that makes it sing. Sorry, go on, Gus.
I was just gonna say, I remember. I don't know what year StreamYard came out. As far as I know, it wasn't really popularized until 2020, somewhere around there. and I remember it was kind of trash back then, but it's way better now. Like these are people who have obviously actually made an attempt to listen to the community using their platform and made attempts to improve its operation, which obviously this happens with anything that's new. You know, it's not going to be a shining star right off the bat, or rarely at least. And improvements even then will still be made as the technology is used.
Yeah.
True.
And it is interesting to see how far it came. Like now I've just noticed you can do the little comment box down in the corner. That's pretty cool. I'm assuming that's only for people who subscribe to StreamYard. But
yeah,
that's
if you
pretty
pay
cool, though.
$100, that's why
$100 fucking dollars.
Almost.
Do they give you any other perks other than you get some extra cool stuff?
Well, you get they remove the watermark. You get like 100 hours of recorded videos on there, in the cloud, and a bunch of other features. But yeah, it's a bit on the expensive
for
side.
$100.
Yeah,
that's worth like $350. Like what? What
well,
the fuck?
Well, I mean, they've
and I mean $3.50, not $350.
I'm going to take off because midnight gets to be my time these days. So
turns into a pumpkin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brenda's old.
Out of all, we heard that excuse today. That out of all of the excuses for leaving a debate, it's the dog's bedtime. I lost it.
Wait, who was that?
The Dr.
Alan
Mike
gave that excuse for Dr. Mike.
Yes. It's the dog's bedtime. Like
no, it's not the dog's bedtime. It's my bedtime.
No, I know. I'm not bashing.
I want to maintain regular sleep hours. I don't want to be staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I wasn't bashing you. It just reminded. I made the connection. It just reminded me that they said that during the debate, and I lost it.
Because getting regular sleep is part of self-care.
I don't sleep.
It's taking care of yourself and respecting yourself.
Max doesn't recognize that.
Yeah, no. Sleeping. Only weak people
3
sleep.
times a week.
But thank you, Brenda. Love you. It's always a pleasure when you join. I'm starting to hand out some of the wrenches that we had before. Don't get mad at me. We'll hand them out as time goes on, so it's okay. Clive Wells says sleep, and John, Clive and John both. I don't know when they sleep, but yeah, they're kind of on my court with that.
Well, yeah, I'm rocking about 4.5 hours sleep in the last 24 hours at the moment, but I function on that. So.
Yeah, I kind of function like that too. I don't even get bags under my eyes. It's just I've had insomnia since I'm 12.
I'm freshly in my 40s, and I have to be honest. I am trying to change it because I've been looking at some of the studies on sort of like longevity, and how long people sleep, and there does seem to be a signal in the data, a correlation between a shorter than average life expectancy and people who don't sleep as much. It seems to have something to do with REM sleep and neuronal regeneration and general health. But you know, as you can see, I'm imitating Max here, and I had 5 uncles, and none of them made it to 70, and you know, when they all sat around a table, they looked like a half carton of eggs. So it does not look good to me.
Sorry, Toon, I didn't give you a chance to talk when we were talking before. I'm sorry, I'm scatterbrained, but if you would like to say something, you talked a little bit. Don't feel pressured.
About the Matters Now situation?
Yeah,
it's you fronted it, you drove it, but I just want to support that you did the right thing. That's totally a correct thing to do. You know, and you know, I don't know, you can't take what he did gracefully, but he could have done better in his response for sure.
Yeah.
Handing over the channel would have been really a great idea. Agreeing to sell it for a reasonable cost would also be a great idea.
I mean, $1,000 will get you far in America in this world. If you got $1,000 in your back pocket,
he's never going to bring $1,000 in on his AI generated garbage. Never.
No, God,
no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I predict he's going to burn resources trying to prop it up, and that's
Yeah,
not going to
AI
work.
video is not cheap to make.
So just to put this into context, Max on his birthday a few weeks ago did a 24-hour stream, and the bribe that he's referring to is because I enjoy his content. I can't sleep. I struggle. And I very much enjoy the content. I enjoy the discussions that we have. I'm a conservative, and Max is, a liberal communist.
But we got to be clear. When you say you're a conservative, that's not going to mean the same thing as like if you
Different
went to
America.
rural Oklahoma in the United States and somebody said they were conservative.
When I say conservative, do not think Westboro Baptist. Think sort of mild-mannered Church of England Protestant who's pro-gay marriage, etc. I am it's fairly common over this side of the pond. It's not the same in the US.
No,
So
not at all.
so you don't drive around a 1978 Ford pickup with the Confederate flag on the roof and a gun rack on the back window?
No.
Okay.
It's weird. It's weird. I conform to some of them. So, for example, I do have firearms. I do have a firearms license in the United Kingdom, which is unusual. There's very few of us that do.
Quick question. Sorry to interrupt. Can you own firearms in your home in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The problem is that you need the firearms law in the UK is I would argue that it's draconian, but it's not without reason. So in 1996 we had a school shooting in a school called Dunblane, or a school in Dunblane in Scotland. Some absolute lunatic who owned pistols, who actually had the pistols taken off him by the police because they considered him to be unstable. And then the police, after he appealed, returned them to him. He went into the school and shot 16 kids and 2 teachers. And the legislature, the public, just went, right, no more pistols. They're concealable weapons. No more pistols. They don't, other than sports shooting, they don't have a function. In the UK law, you're not allowed to use self-defense as a justification for owning them. So they essentially banned all pistols, and they increased the regulation on things like rifles. So I own rifles basically. Some of them don't require a firearms license. So some of them are what are called sub 12 foot-pounds or sub 16 joules, and they're things like air rifles. But I've got a 22 LR Christensen, HMR, stuff like that. Which
Can you own a sawed-off shotgun?
No.
God,
Weapon.
are you fucking? You can't have
Weapon.
Oh.
So weapon. Anything with a barrel length under. Anything with a barrel length under, I think it's 8 inches, is considered concealable, and it's a mandatory 5-year prison sentence for owning it.
Wow.
No discretion.
Fuck.
Golden's Raver asked
Those
me.
are the home defense weapon right there. The good old sawed off.
If you point a shotgun at somebody in a domestic setting, I will slap the shit out of you. And I'm a gun owning advocate. A shotgun.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that if I weren't going to be pulling the trigger. So if I were to do that to somebody, they wouldn't get the chance to slap me.
Let me answer a couple of questions. Zebulon asked me, what is yerba mate? And it's the weed that I drink. This is a mate. Yerba mate is the weed, and in general, the whole thing, like the drink, is called mate. But if I would have made the channel Mate Talks, it would have been a bit weird for Americans. And Peter pointed out, Peter Markley, that it could have sounded like it was some sort of dating kind of a channel, like Mate Talks. So might have been weird on that end. So
you can use special letters and stuff in YouTube names for the most part.
It wouldn't. No,
with the accent above the E.
Yeah, the tilde, but mate doesn't carry.
No, not the tilde. That's the one that goes. I'm talking about the one that goes.
ASCII characters.
Oh, I'm sorry, tilde. The accent is
grave.
It's in
grave.
Spanish. I didn't know.
You guys can have your fancy schmancy big. I'm an elitist liberal.
Oh, what the hell? Everyone dropped at once. What is happening? Oh my God! Why
You
you
gotta-
do this to me? Yeah, I'm
Gotta pay
definitely
those
going
bills,
back.
Max.
Yeah, I'm
Max
definitely.
there with that
I'm
Walmart
setting
internet.
that up tomorrow. Yeah,
So,
it's bad.
So super quick. Obviously, the reason you asked me about the conservative thing, etc. The reason that I'm here on this channel in the first place is because I enjoy having conversations with people who I disagree with, but I can have the civil conversation.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
as it turns out, Max and I don't actually disagree on a huge amount. Our attitude, we disagree on how we're going to get to the end destination, but we don't necessarily disagree on the end destination. But I enjoy the fact that Max has cultivated a community that allows for those conversations within reason to happen. Obviously, I love dicking on flat earthers too. It's always fun, but we can have these reasonable conversations. And I'm beyond angry that Ozian has basically dug a pit underneath Max, and then let him fall into it with no warning after a year's worth of his time being invested in it. And then to make matters worse, I basically bribed Max to stay on a stream for some significant hours. I think I might have actually shaved. Yeah, I think but this stream ended up being what? I mean, I think it ended up being like 16 hours long or something. Like when you add all the bits, videos together. And in order for Max to do this, I said, I'll pay you to do it. I think it was like £200 or something.
£200, yeah.
So, yeah. So I have now, and Ozian has not given this to Max, despite it was absolutely Max's.
There was an update after we talked. He did send me not the full amount. He took some for the taxes, whatever. I told him, hey, I have like an actual legal, I can bill you so you don't have to pay taxes on what you forward over to me.
Yeah.
But I did get some money. It's over. I'm so over it. We're moving forward and it's okay.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to Ale. How are you, my friend?
Hi, how are you all?
Doing
pretty good.
Awesome. Maybe you didn't know, Toon, but this is Alejandro Vallejo.
Oh, no, yeah. We have talked a little bit once in one of his live streams. Don't know if he remembers, but I do.
Let's see. Oh, Golden's asked me if I knew. Where's that question? Here. Did you have an idea he was doing such things before? It's hard to find out about people you trust. No, I had no idea. And
I wouldn't have guessed it. If somebody had just approached me in the street and said, hey, that guy that yeah, he tried to pay to a 15-year-old, I would be like, receipts. Like, picture it didn't happen would be my first reaction. So
yeah, and you got to remember the context of who Ozian presented himself to us as. This guy he's written a book on secular morality. It's not like
I bought the book.
Well, I mean, but the notion that Ozian's idea of quote unquote helping is to be a 50-year-old fat ass hypocritical neckbeard that's rutting away on some 15-year-old girl for $280 makes me want to beat the shit out of him.
The word picture there. Thank you for not. Oh my gosh.
Yes, exactly. that was descriptive as fuck.
Hold on, I need this.
Yes. But like we're already at 300 subscribers. This is just going to end up being better for me personally. Now I can
what
just
number did you say?
305.
300. We have reached 300.
It's more than that. No, it's 309, Max. I've just refreshed.
It's 11.
No, it's 314. It's going. It's going, mate.
Yeah. We're
get it
flying.
to 300. If you get it to 350, I will. What should I do?
Disrobe.
I mean, I got clothes on underneath, but yeah, I'll take the robe off. We get 350.
At 400, Dad Node's best will disrobe.
Yes.
Everybody that's wearing a robe will be disrobed.
And for
Hey,
when it comes to 500, I'll put on my robe so I can disrobe afterwards. That's the way to
seriously
go.
Also, like I'm not ashamed of my body at all, but you seriously don't want to see that. My wife bought me for Christmas. She bought me. I don't think it was a gift for me. I think it was a gift for her. She bought me laser hair removal for my back, and I've just had the
Ooh.
patch test done. So I just have like a perfect 4-inch square of hair missing on my back right now. So you do not want me to take my clothes off and do a spin. I guarantee you, it's janky as fuck.
That's so
The rest
cool.
of his hair, by the way, is in dreads on his back.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I have kind of the same
run your hands
trouble.
through my long golden locks.
I don't know.
You know-
it seems that all the hair from here migrated to other places.
Yeah.
So Max,
That's why
Max,
I've got the beard. I'm trying to offset the amount of face that I have to wash.
it moved, it migrated south. So Max, you remember I made a birthday wish video for you, and now that is nobody can watch it anymore, right?
Okay.
Wrong. I just sent it to you on Discord.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. I'll put that. I'll
play it
put
right
it
now.
so we have some.
You can play it right now.
I'll play it right now. Oh yes. Okay. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Where are we here? Yes, and Toon did a bunch of research to actually get the sentences that he said. He told me to go.
Where the fuck did he go?
I guess people are getting booted out every few seconds.
Max, why you keep kicking people, man?
I'm
I
not
do it
kicking
out, but
people.
just the
It's-
camera doesn't appear.
You're giving him the
Max-
boot. That's
Max
boot.
has got his- Max has got his birthday video from MCToon. That's all he wanted, so now he's got rid of them.
No, I don't know why it's dropping. I'll probably tomorrow just set up the StreamYard. I don't. This is not cool. All right. There you are back. Okay. Let's see if this works. Okay, yeah, apparently it lost the sound. I'll mirror it, Toon, but I'm extremely grateful that you went above and beyond for the birthday. Apparently when I go to the live screen share thing, it just mutes all the sound, so yeah, probably starting tomorrow I'll transfer over back to StreamYard so we can do what we've been doing. I have enough money to keep it going for a couple of months. So if you want to help out, consider paypal.me/MXXUY for Uruguay, and all change is appreciated. As soon as we get monetized, I'll stop. Like, we'll go back to like before. If you want to collaborate, that's on you, and I'm grateful.
What you need?
Yes.
How many subscribers do you need for monetization or viewing hours?
1,000.
No, it's 500, 500
Oh,
subs,
that's right. They did
and
drop it.
3,000 watch hours. So
That's the hard
How many
one.
do you have right
Yeah.
now? How many watch hours do you have right now?
I have no idea, but very little because we have one
It's
show.
This video.
Couple of
yeah.
videos. Yeah. Okay.
So the way to help that is to just mirror content from other places. Whatever you have, just especially if it's long, put it up, and people will watch it just to get those hours in for you.
Yeah, I'll dig up through some of my appearances on Toon's channel and on FTFE. I think we have with FTFE we did on one of his marathons. I joined him for like 10 hours and until I got like super tired and went to bed. So I'll get the corresponding approvals for that. But yeah.
Can you put up your debates and such on MTT?
Yeah, maybe I'll ask James if I can do.
Oh yeah, James is always happy with people mirroring his videos too.
Do you know what you should do for merch, Max? You should, given the name of the channel and like sort of the Yerba Mate mug is iconic for you. You should really get some like Yerba Mate merch mugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd buy one. I've ordered a mate mug online. I've also ordered some mate tea. Although be warned, people, there are a couple of different types of mate tea.
Yes.
Some of them may be legal in your vicinity, and some of them may not be. So just make sure you order the correct one for you.
Are the quote unquote illegal ones weed tea or something?
Yeah, probably.
Absolutely, they are. Yeah, and as far as I can tell, the THC count is through the fucking roof. It's mental.
You want to know a
I'd take a
secret?
swaggle.
This is actually a gourd. It's a gourd that it's dried up in the sun, and then it has a leather, like a leather cover, and a little metal rim. But yeah,
So when
it's
you
a
say
Gourd?
yeah,
yes,
gourd?
gourd. Yes, sorry.
It's a type of squash. Yeah.
Gourd? I'm
Gourd.
sorry.
Yeah, I thought that's what Max was saying, but I did just want to double check.
I thought he was talking about something completely different until he talked about drying it in the sun, and I was like, does he mean gourd?
Yes, that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'd probably say
Andreas
things really
Eld
funny, too.
is trying to share a link. I gave you a wrench, so we don't have
I
to,
don't-
copy
I also
paste
don't know
and
what
stuff.
Leo's laughing for. He comes from a culture where they use words like zucchini and eggplants. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Who said I use those words?
Well, I mean, you may not, to be fair. I was just going by the flag in the background, but, you know.
I mean, I don't know what else you would call those, but because we don't call them anything else in the Midwest.
An
United
aubergine
States.
and a courgette.
Yeah, that just sounds like something you'd hear in France.
I think aubergine is a root.
That's
I
an
think the
exclusive
root
British
word.
word, I think. Aubergine is an exclusive British word, I think.
Aubergine. But
Yeah, so that's the equivalent of eggplant.
isn't
the
that
fruit-
French?
So we send the aubergine emoji. And
Yes.
you can,
Fucking literally no space to talk.
But
Sorry, go on,
isn't that French? Aubergine doesn't sound
I think
English.
the etymology of the word is it will be Latin or French.
Yeah, it does. It does sound like it is French.
Don't speak proper English, innit?
At least I measure things and don't measure things. Whatever the fuck measuring something is supposed to be.
Well, hang on. Do we really want to get into like a fight about how the Americans measure shit? Really?
No, not Americans release that one all day, every day. How fast are you going? How many freedoms per eagle were you going?
Oh, now that we talk about measures, something came up during the debate, the discussion around sheep units. And
Yes.
I would like to ask Toon, as a proponent of the sheep unit, is it measured snout to anus, or is it measured snout to the tip of the tail?
Well, let's go to the website and see mctoon.net/sheep.
Ouch.
Here we go. Length, 1 sheep length is the snout to rump length of a 2-year-old ewe, which in freedom units is 4.33 feet. Notice the 33 in there. Or 1.3187 1.319784 meters. Yes, way more sig fig than necessary.
And rump, what would that be?
I don't know. You would have to probably see the meeting notes for the Interscot Standardization meeting of 1734 to see what that was about.
Big
Max?
Fish in the chat has just said he said entomology, which is the study of insects. I assume he means etymology of aubergine is actually Arabic.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
cool.
So that's interesting.
We have Leo sharing.
I'm sharing. I didn't know if you could share it with the audience. It
I can,
relates
I
to
can.
The Americans will use anything but the metric system shit we were talking about.
We're
You can
talking
just
about
make that really
etymology,
big
we
so
can talk
everybody
about
can
Can you
and
make
hopefully
that
it
big?
doesn't get super blurry.
It should be big right now.
I don't see it.
Oh, yeah, you don't see it because you don't see like the stage, but
Oh.
it's big on
There you go.
the stream.
Oh, yeah.
242 dicks.
I fucking love this meme.
I have to be honest. My criticism of the American system is a bit weird. So we had decimalization in like 1972, but all of our speed limits are still in miles an hour, not kilometers an hour. But we all like in architecture and like engineering, we all like we use like stone. So there's 16 pounds in a stone or something, and like our system is really janky, but it does mean that there's probably no better culture on earth that can sort of switch between the imperial system and the metric system faster than a Brit, because the French or the Germans, if you say feet and inches to them, they go, huh, what the fuck? Whereas a Brit is probably better at converting on the fly, because we legitimately use both, because we never fully committed.
So when you measure the area of a house, what's that
Measure.
So when like all of our like real estates, they still do it in square feet. It's mental.
Toon, when you can send a message in the chat so I can wrench you up. But Joe Heron is trying to start a further discussion and stirring the pot of controversy. Says, can we discuss the insane use of Z for the letter Z? You're trying to get me in trouble. Why don't I have a wrench? Here you go. Because I started giving them out today, Leo. Come on, I'm catching up.
X, Y, Z. What, that seems. I mean, you know,
I gotta be on the
so
side
weird.
for this one.
No, it's Z. It's Z. And look, I don't understand why this is particularly controversial with the way
Just
that
like
fucking
it's
Americans...
height.
Look, you want to pick a fight over the letter Z/Z when we've got aluminium and what's the other one?
Aluminum.
It's aluminium. It's how it's spelt. And don't even get me started on how Americans say Jaguar. Jaguar.
Say it the way we spell it, though. We spell it different.
Exactly.
Jaguar.
Well, it's not my fault you can't spell.
I want to pick a fight about how you English speakers use the word billion wrong. You use the wrong number.
Oh, yeah. Ale, you use billion for
billion?
1,000. Yes, you use billion for 1,000 million and not the correct way, which is a million million.
Yes, so there's two ways of thinking about it. One is we consider an astronomical billion is a million millions, whereas
That's
a financial
just a trillion.
Whereas a financial
trillion is
It's
billion,
a
a
billion.
million,
but a financial billion.
Well, then they're not
is a
using the
1,000
same
million.
base 10 system that literally the whole world uses.
In Spanish, 1 billion is a million million.
A million millions.
Also in German,
sorry.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Then
US,
what is
you are
1 trillion?
What's the in between then?
1 trillion is a
1,000
million multiplied
millions.
thrice, or to the power of 3, rather.
Yeah.
Wow.
So hold on. What comes after 100,000? What's the next zero on there?
100,000 is a
1,000.
million or 1,000 million. Or no, sorry. 100,000. No, a million. Sorry.
Well,
So
yeah, we'll say
we have
but
1 million, 6 zeros. You have, if you add 3 more zeros, that's 1,000 million.
Or a
If
million.
you add, if you make it a million, that is 1 billion. In Spanish, it's so
why the
many
gap?
zeros.
why the gap?
Because
I don't
Spanish is the best language there is.
But in
And-
English, in British, is that the same?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But just it's wrong. The etymology billion
Yeah.
is to the power of 2. It's a million to the power of 2.
Yeah, but
Million
we don't say million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, pentillion, all that sort of quintillion, all of that
Quintillion,
stuff,
etc. Yeah.
because of the power that it's raised to. million,
Yeah,
billion,
that's why it's wrong.
trillion. It's by order of magnitude. That's how we here. So trillion,
So
because
weird.
that would be out of the illions, the third one that you mentioned.
The crazy thing is that in the same way as you declare that your football teams are world champions, despite the fact that they're not playing football, they're playing rugby for pussies.
They're playing
because they wear
handbag.
pads. Is in the same way as Americans aren't even aware of this like numerical system outside of the US. Like, I mean, it's weird, I know, or it must be weird from your perspective, but you know.
Wait, so I've got a question then.
Yes.
What if I said 3 times 10 to the 8th? I would be dealing in
That would be 300.
badillion, ferillion, silmarillion, like
10 to the 8 is 100 million.
300 million.
yeah, that would be okay. So what would 10 to the 10th be?
10 milliard.
10 to the
I don't
10th
know.
would be no.
10 to be more than that.
No,
Oh,
no, just 10
We
million.
do-
Toon is pulling out a book. What's that?
That's the Silmarillion.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he was the only one that got that.
yes.
With the map still.
The only
Ooh,
reason I
oh,
asked
wow.
that question, by the way, is because in physics, like a lot of things like the speed of light are generally given in terms of the order of magnitude rather than writing out all of the zeros or all of the places. So the speed of light would be 3 times 10 to the 8th, or I think more accurately, it's 2.9
98
times
times 10 to the 8th.
2.9979245 times 10 to the 8th meters per second would be the units, obviously. So I was going to say, if you guys are doing it differently, then that's got to be based on something that's not order of magnitude. Otherwise, physicists across the world couldn't use that order of magnitude system, because times 10 to the nth would be different for everybody. That means something different by that n.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah, no,
it is way more impressive. It is
we
way more
understand the
impressive. It's way more impressive to be a billionaire in Spanish than in English, because it's way more
What?
money.
Do you know, I was having this conversation with somebody a little while ago, and they were, I mean, being a billionaire is one thing. Now think about it from the perspective of the fucking population of the planet. How many people live in China? Do you know what I mean? It's if outside of the US people think that billion equates to not what people in the US think, and they think that the planet is overpopulated. No wonder they think the planet's overpopulated, because that's a shitload of people.
Yeah.
Um,
Clive Wells says, traditionally in English, 10 to the 9th equal 1 milliard.
Yep.
Milliard.
Milliard.
I'm sorry,
Britain
I'm
only
not
changed
saying
to
that.
the
You
more-
people
to
in
the
your
US side because of
weird
US power,
words,
basically.
And Peter says the IARD suffix is completely foreign to my vocabulary as an American.
You know, the other thing that pisses me off about mathematical notation that I think a lot of countries in like Eastern Europe, and I think even some Nordic countries do,
The comma.
is like with the speed of light, they wouldn't say 2.997, they'd go 2,997.
Yes.
And I just want to fucking slap all of
Yeah.
them. That
So
is
I
a
Yeah.
studied
comma.
in a
That is not
German
a
school. For
fucking
me, it was
decimal
3
point.
comma
Not
2,
right.
not 3.
Why a comma for a decimal point?
Exactly. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense at all.
Ale and
Any
I are Spanish speaker both, and we both use it the other way around. It's 10, comma, 00, and no, we use it the other way around. Instead of, for the decimals, it's a comma, and for the thousands, it's a little dot. Which
so like
kind of
10,000 would be 10.000 rather than the
correct.
comma.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I can't stand that. Simply because I didn't learn it that way. That's literally the only reason why I don't like it, because that's not the way I learned it.
Yeah.
My Spanish is very limited. It's Hola, ¿dónde está la putas? And
Ooh.
quería unas cervezas, por favor.
Cerveza,
that's about-
yeah.
yeah.
He
Almost
just
there.
asked for hookers and beer. I mean, that's the only thing you need to know in Spanish. So
Tengo
just in
un
case,
gato
for
grande en mis pantalones.
that, yeah. Gato would be the word for cat. And if we were inverted, if we were like, you know, this broadcast and the ecosystem was in Spanish and I was a native English speaker, I would have called cat gato because it's kind of adorable.
Can you say gato? I'm sorry.
Oh my god. I love that reel.
That should also the request for hookers and beer should
I'm
also
gonna cut
put
off
me
the
in.
on your face.
Contextually, it demonstrates the exactly the type of conservative I am. So
Ah, yeah. and also it gives away that you learn those phrases probably in Ibiza. I would bet it.
So my Spanish is absolutely dog shit now, but it used to be much better. About 15 years ago, I was dating a Spanish girl, a redhead, which would surprise you, Max. Not a Spanish girl. She was an English girl. But you remember when we were talking about the like translation the other day, and I said that I knew a girl years ago who told me that ideally you translate from your learned language into your native language because it allows you to translate colloquialisms better.
Yeah.
This was the girl that told me that. She lived in a town called Tudela in Spain where she was teaching Spanish children English. We were dating for about 3 years and I spent a huge amount of time out there. But this town in Tudela, it's near Zaragoza. It's just south of Pamplona where they do like the famous bull run and stuff.
Yeah.
It's an ancient town. So my Spanish is dog shit. I can't converse in it. I got to the stage where I could sort of understand mostly what was going on and I could ask for directions, you know, donde está los aseos and, you know, stuff like that. What got me into trouble was because she kept on correcting my pronunciation all the time. So when I spoke in Spanish, my Spanish was incredibly limited, but my pronunciation had like a bit of a dialect to it. So then the people would presume that I was perfectly fluent in Spanish and then I'd just be awash with like misunderstanding. It's like, whoa, slow down.
I noticed.
Habla inglés, por favor. Habla inglés.
The funny thing is that even the Spanish, which are the creators of the where the language comes from, they do this little so they say Zaragoza, so they kind of like lisp. It's so off. It's
Barcelona.
weird. Barcelona.
Let's go vacation. Barcelona.
It sounds
Zaragoza,
so weird.
Trito, but yeah, because this
They also name a lot of their things pretty funny. Like I can't give a specific example right now, but when it comes to like movies and series, the names they give are pretty funny for someone that speaks Spanish.
Oh
They're
yeah.
not-
You ever heard of literally any British food ever? You want to talk about weird names? Like what the fuck are snoggle tarts? Jellied eels? What?
Oh no!
What?
So you're.
I know. Me mate's mom makes the best jellied eels this side of Bubble Double Show, mate. I swear. Like,
I don't.
Fuzzy
I don't know if
Wuckets.
you. So we do.
Chippy whistle.
There's so jellied eels is culturally it's of its time. You don't see it anymore really, or like cockles. There's a few weird dishes. So like there's something called toad in the hole, which is basically it's a Yorkshire pudding. I don't even know if you
Which
guys
isn't
know what
pudding.
Yorkshire pudding is.
It's
No,
not
it's not
pudding.
No, it's not a pudding. So it's
What is it like? Caramelized shit in a pile on a plate?
It's a sausage.
No, it's not.
What?
It's not. You're thinking of black pudding, which is a blood sausage.
Ooh, yum yum.
So,
What the hell?
but Yorkshire pudding is it's eggs, milk, flour whisked together, and then you put it in a red hot pan Pyrex dish, and it like raises in like a cake raises in the dish. And then what you do is before it rises, when you cook it, you chuck like a load of sausages in it, and then you pour like an onion gravy on the top when it's cooked, and that's called toad in the hole. And then there's another.
Doesn't sound too bad though.
Oh no, it's a great meal. It's like stick to the ribs food. It's like for
You're
like
fucking right. Mm.
And there's no toads. Bonus.
Yeah, we're not French. Fuck. Don't confuse us with the French.
You ever had frog legs?
No, I haven't.
They're
I've had
good.
escargot.
They're really
I've
good.
had escargot.
You ever had bluegill?
Isn't that tuna?
That's not tuna. No, bluegill. It's a
I-
fish.
I-
don't
Oh, no,
know
I'm
if you
thinking of
have it.
bluefin, aren't I?
I love blood sausage like sandwich. It's one of like
Sandwich.
if anyone sees you eating that in like I don't know, a food truck out on the street, or most probably someone with just like a grill in the sidewalk, it is like super. I don't know, ghetto, I would say, something like it's very low class, but I love it. I love a blood sausage sandwich. It's so good.
Because I work in the trades, that's like a breakfast staple. So we have like the food, like where we go and buy all our lumber and stuff. Outside the trade places, there's almost always like a food wagon, like a greasy spoon, and they're usually cooking things like, it'll be like sausage sandwiches, bacon sandwiches, and there's always the option of having like some blood sausage on top of it. So like
Yum.
proper like loin bacon, not the streaky shit they serve in the US, but proper bacon. with lots of them.
Bacon does
So I'm
not
doing-
come from the loin of the pig.
I'm
No.
doing my
It does
best.
come from the pork bellies, though, and also
Yes.
the capicola muscle is acceptable
I'm
if
doing-
you know what cottage bacon is. But whatever you guys are serving, it's as bad as what the Canadians are trying to pass as bacon.
Yeah,
Yes.
whatever Leo, the representative of the former colony, said is wrong, obviously. So,
We should have never let you be free as a country.
I don't think they had a choice, buddy.
They did. They just let you have it. All right, it's a bit
I mean,
late.
we handed
ahead.
you we handed you the torch. We handed you free speech, enlightenment values, and I mean, look what you've done with it, man. Look what you've done with it. I mean, 240 years later, you've driven it into the fucking ground.
Yeah, 90% of that history is just like oppressing black people at every fucking turn. It's great.
Yeah, that sad.
Well, we tried
sadly
to stop
is true.
you. You wouldn't let
Oh
us.
yeah.
Nesumi Zubi Tomato says, "I love maple bacon."
Shifting moment more clearly.
How do you get How do you get bacon out of a tree?
Well, no,
Am
it's
I-
the maple.
Oh no.
Doesn't he
Maple
make
bacon
bacon
is what
funny?
you get when you take bacon and you cover it in maple syrup, and usually like you might bake it with some maple syrup, maybe some brown sugar, get a nice caramelly glaze on it. And
There's-
you might also
there's
hear the term
maple-
candied bacon. That's usually
maple-
without the
I
maple
also
syrup.
like with maple
Oh,
syrup,
isn't
but
it
also
maple
with sugar.
syrup bacon as well?
I've never tried maple syrup.
no,
I saw
no,
it
no,
only. I saw it only once, and it cost too much to buy. I haven't tried it yet. I tried not too long ago after Dr. J, the last October after Dr. J came here. I tried peanut butter for the first time. Peanut butter crunchy. It was good. I like that.
Wait, you tried peanut butter for the first time?
Yes, sir.
How do you? Is that not something you have there?
No, it's
It's
not
not
common.
very common
We
in
have.
Latin America.
No, it's a very American thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have dulce de leche, which is basically milk with sugar,
caramel.
slow cooked. No, it's not caramel. Caramel is just sugar. It's basically caramel within milk, and then you have to stir it and slow cook it for hours and hours and hours. But dulce de leche is delicious.
That's my favorite candy.
By Haagen-Dazs ice cream, they have a dulce de leche flavor.
Dulce de leche flavor ice cream. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, peanut butter is becoming more common here. My kids like peanut butter sandwiches, but it's weird. Like, so we would do a peanut butter and jam sandwich. You guys in the States would call it a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Jelly. Yeah.
But but then I'm not sure if there's much of a distinction between jam and jelly. To be honest, I think in
There
the UK,
is.
in the UK, like I think the distinction, like jam actually has the fruit in it, whereas the jelly is made from like a fruit extract. It's more like a
Something like that. I
it's
think.
like a juice with gelatin in it or something.
Americans don't know.
What's marmalade?
Exactly. They just shove it into their faces.
John, what's marmalade then?
Marmalade contains the zest of the fruit as well. So if you have
that's
like
why
an
it's
orange
orangey.
marmalade,
Orange marmalade spread. Oh,
yeah, and
seems
then
that marmalade has to be citrus.
yeah, it like tends to be like orange marmalade or lemon marmalade, but it also almost always seems a component of it almost always seems to have the zest in it, which is because it's got the peptins and stuff in it. It's quite it adds a bitter component to it as well. It's not just sweets. It's got a bit more of a bit of tang. Yeah, it's literally zesty.
Zesty.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you were about to take your gown off there, Leo, when you went zesty.
Gown. Jesus Christ.
All right,
dude,
I'm
I could show this guy a couch and he'd just be like, "Oh, that's a nice Davenport."
Just
because, just to use a different word.
I really like the chaise.
No, let me tell you, a lady at my work went over to England, her first trip there, and the lady that was the host, this is for work, right? So this is a work trip. She gets over there, and she had been told by people that worked with her that she needs to go through their local chocolate shop in England because it's the best. And the name of that chocolate shop is the name of a chain of chocolate shops in the United States. So she gets to England, asks her very proper English host to bring her to the local Fanny farmer.
To the what?
The local Fanny farmer.
You need to explain that because Americans won't know.
No, they don't get it.
So in the United States, a fanny is the ass or the buttocks.
Yes, the butt.
In the United Kingdom, hence the fanny pack, because it sits on just above your ass in the back. In the United Kingdom, a fanny is a vagina.
Ooh.
You need to go to the chocolate shop named Vagina Farmer.
Yeah, and there are so many layers to this, because like if you were going to say that a part of the human anatomy was the chocolate shop, it should be the ass. Let's be honest. Like I mean, it's just it depended on how proper that lady was. I mean, obviously we're not.
It's a business trip.
Yeah, but what I mean is we're not like. I mean, firstly, I'd never heard of that brand before, but I got the context of the joke based on how you or the story, how you'd laid it out. But we don't really have chocolate shops. We essentially have one. There's Tunnocks, which is a confectionery manufacturer that's specialised in chocolate, and then there was Cadbury's, but Cadbury's has been bought. Yeah, but Cadbury's has been bought by an American company.
Right.
But also, I don't
probably
think
Nestle.
But I also it was bought by Nestle.
I knew it.
Wait, what? It was bought by who?
Nestle.
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 The most evil company in the world.
Nestle.
It was bought by Nestle. Okay.
You Americans like
that. Leo is full on grammar Nazi today. Like, dude, accent.
I am.
Like, we Spanish people are so forgiving with the accent, and Americans are just like a-holes.
And you know what's funny?
What's
funny is that America, in English in general, you don't have like a central authority that dictates the language like we have in Spanish, the Royal Academy of Spanish. They are the ones that actively say like, this is correct, this is not correct. You don't have that there in English. And you are way more strict about pronunciations.
But you know what? American English is way more homogenous than British English. In Britain, the accent varies quite a bit between classes of people, location, etc. In America, it's far more homogenous.
Oh God!
Well,
we've 3 feet and hear 5 different people say the same word 17 different ways in England.
So I live just south of. I live about 30 miles, about a half an hour drive, because we don't drive around like old grandmothers over here. The Birmingham accent, the Brummie accent, is very different to my accent. My accent, as Leo's got an excellent ear for English accents. Actually, he worked out after a couple of hours of speaking to me that I live near Oxfordshire, and Oxfordshire is a neighbouring county to me. So I'm impressed with Leo's ear. That is unusual even for Brits, to be honest. But I would say toothbrush, because I can speak properly, whereas a Brummie would say toothbrush. Toothbrush. Yeah.
Is that because they're missing some?
Yeah, probably. And along with some, jeans.
I don't have much experience with British accents, so I can't tell them apart. I need to develop that more. But it's a bit late, and I'm severely hungry, so we'll do a little bit final thoughts about the debate, about whatever you want. I can't thank enough Toon. I've been thinking about, you mentioned doing something on the 9th. I have a couple of ideas. I'll bounce back with you, but I think we can do something fun. And I want to thank every one of you. I'll eBay one more time. I'm putting the link for the PayPal if you want to send a little change. It doesn't have to be much. Whatever laying around it will help to keep the channel.
Coin to your streamer, all viewers are plenty.
If you can, you know what to do. So we'll start with Earthly Skeptic, and we'll go down this route.
All right, so I missed some portion of the debate, but I am still unconvinced of Alan's methods. I already raised my objections before. I'm also suspicious whether he considers the stars to be finite or infinite distance. Both of them introduce problems for him. We can talk about that later time, but there are lots of questions to be answered by him, and I'm unconvinced. But it was fun talking to all of you, and cheers to Max on the new channel.
Cheers. Thank you so much. Mr. Toon.
I am also unconvinced about the methodology. I'm very convinced that the methodology is complete crap, and they know it. And they rather than just face it, they ran from it. So awesome! Thanks for having me, Max. Looking forward to having your channel be just yours. I love that it's just yours now.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's
I
an
mean,
upgrade.
me with Dr. J and Isa, but yeah, I have the control, but they're very close with me working in all the stuff. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much just like the previous 8 months have been in a new home. So, and that is awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, I'm excited for the future. It's going to be great. I did see a message from Katie Markley that I popped her mod cherry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. It was an accident. Ale, my friend, thank you for dropping by.
Yeah, well, just basically, I think it's very telling how they got mad and ran. like everyone else said, after they got asked the hard questions, so to speak. Yeah, they basically got mad and ran. Also, I wish there was a way, some sort of way to force them to answer honestly, because I'm pretty convinced that they would say, yeah, we know the Earth is a globe. We're just lying for money. We just want to seem smart. So yeah,
they don't make that. Heffron's not making money, and Alan isn't making much if he is.
Well,
right.
Okay, maybe not money, but maybe they just want to seem smart. But I do think they know that their method is flawed, that the Earth is a globe. Yeah. And I would very much like them to try to. Sorry. Okay. I would very much. Sorry. You go.
No, I was just going to say the word "seem" is doing a lot of heavy lifting there when you say "seem smart," but that was
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I wish also I would very much like to see them do actual trigonometry and try to calculate when does the sun reach a negative angle in order to go below the horizon. But hey, we can dream, right?
All right. Ale reminded me of one thing. Alan used a word, because I remember Shame likes he calls it mathemagic. And Alan used a variation of math and another word, which I was like, yes, I'm convinced. Does anyone remember that word? I laughed my ass so hard. I will find it tomorrow on the replay, but I laughed really, really hard at that. Does anyone remember? He said something like I don't know, it was weird, but it was funny. Anyone? No?
No,
All right.
sorry, Max.
No.
Leo, final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just glad to be here. It's a good time with these folks, as always. It literally doesn't feel like anything's changed at all, and really nothing has. I mean, there's been some shifting, on behind the curtains, but that doesn't matter. You don't pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. Okay, how about that?
Yeah.
But you just subscribe and like the videos and donate all of your money, and you will like it, and that's the way that it's going to be.
That guaranteed happiness, at least for me. John, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'd just like to mirror what Leo said. Actually, it doesn't really feel like anything's changed. This has been great. I've really enjoyed it. We can have a laugh, have a chat, bit of intellectual conversation, stretch the brain cells out a little bit, and it's even though I was completely ignorant of the sex pest behind the curtain, the fact that this is much, much, much less, I hope to say, completely absent kiddie fiddly, that's much better. So yeah, with regards to the debate, it felt like there was an awful lot of calories expended on a methodology that, if you critiqued it internally, had some fucking gaping holes in it. But then if you critique it externally and you start looking at things like plane of rotation or our field of view over the horizon and stuff, it becomes completely inconsequential, because even if there were some merit to their argument, which I don't think is worth the time exploring, it seems nonsense. There are other things that we have a much, much higher confidence on around things like plane of rotation, et cetera, that mean that their conclusion of flat Earth is nonsense anyway. We're much more justified concluding that either their methodology is shit or their conclusion that they've drawn from the shit methodology is wrong than we are even engaging with the methodology in the first place. It just seemed like a load of unnecessary complexity to try and confuse the situation. It seemed like a tactic rather than a methodology, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's it.
It contradicts another flat Earth mantra. You can't determine the shape of the Earth but looking at things in the sky. It starts off with globe software to determine like the stars and shapes, Google Earth or Stellarium, this and that. They have to disregard refraction. It's like if you do everything wrong, then you get flat Earth, and that's very telling, and I love that. That's all they have. I loved Alan when he lowers his voice and he starts yelling like, "What is the angle?" It's like, oh yes, Alan.
Where's my Mountain Dew?
Yes,
So, Max, with your indulgence, super quickly, just in relation to the channel, because I can see Peter is in the chat. Peter Markley is in the chat. Obviously, from the channel of old, which is now firmly in our rearview mirror. But I actually, I was very disappointed because I actually went back to watch the section or listen to the section of the stream where I had the conversation with Peter and the Freak. We were having a conversation about essentially I'm an agnostic, not an atheist in the philosophical sense. And we were having a conversation around what would be required for me in order to make that leap from being an agnostic to being a theist. And Peter and I had a very sincere and a very good conversation. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
It was great.
With that in mind, obviously, I know we can't replicate the conversation, but Peter, I would very much enjoy having that chat with you again, and a Freak for that matter. And I'm being a bit presumptuous here, Max, but I'm sure you would probably be perfectly happy for this to happen on your shiny new channel.
What would it take to make you make the jump from agnosticism to atheism?
It's difficult. I think it depends. So from the deistic point of view, I think it's very difficult. I think we're blocked. I think the concept of a prime mover, the understanding of physics that I have of causation, I don't know what that would be, but needless to say, I'm searching and I'm sincerely searching. I'm open to being convinced in both directions, which is why I'm an agnostic. And I'm not one of those agnostics that claim because I'm agnostic, I don't have a BOP, a burden of proof. I think I do. That burden of proof might be as tenuous as essentially critiquing the evidence that is presented to me. But I don't like as much as I respect Matt Dillahunty, and I think he is fantastic from the perspective of internally critiquing religion and Christianity and the religious texts. I don't like the shifting that he does with regards to burden of proof, where he says that atheism is just not being convinced by the proposition. Atheism is the antithesis of the position, and therefore he takes on a very firm and comprehensive burden of proof. He has to be able to demonstrate that a God does in fact not exist, ontologically does not exist. And this is the distinction between the doxastic position, a belief position on the binary, the ontological facts of the matter, or the actual the facts of the matter. So it's difficult for me to say what would or would not convince me. Needless to say, I'm sure there is something, and I would like somebody to present some novel information. And I have to be honest,
chat about that sometime.
Pete, obviously, absolutely happy to engage, Leo. I would love to. Now, Peter, with the conversation that we were having, I don't think he necessarily presented anything new. He didn't actually tell me anything that I hadn't necessarily heard before, but at a minimum, it was probably one of the more sincere conversations that I'd had on the topic, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was great. It was
hence why I went to listen back to it, because I was interested to rehear the engagement we had, the conversation that we had, and now it's gone, and I fucking hate Ozzy for that, because
it's gone. But in the end, republishing all that, it would have been such a hassle deleting the banner and deleting it. A lot of the stages had contact Ozzy, and it would have been. It's like tear the page, start anew. We're here. Everyone is here also, so it's all good. It's going to be a bright future. The content will still stay the same. We already have an after show planned because Sea Lion Prime Mord1 will be debating. Who was it? Give me 1 second. Oh, yes. He's debating Shame, I think, on Alan's channel on Space Audits. So we'll do an after show of that. They're probably going to talk about this very same thing. That's the name of the Ether Derpology Boys channel.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of space audits when like the IRS goes into space and says, you haven't paid any taxes on this space.
No, they are.
Where is your tax money you owe us, huh?
In their head, they are auditing space the same way that Kyle Adams thinks that in a very kind of similar way, Kyle Adams's channel is abolish NASA. And I would suggest that we could abolish Kyle, but that would be the solution to that.
Is there any progress on that idiot who's suing the Canadian government? What's his name?
Mikey Smith. He met with his lawyer not too long ago.
The toe guy with the fucking
toe guy. Yes.
Also,
doesn't go to the fucking doctor.
Well, I was going to ask about the progress on his toe. Is he now only able to count to 19 when he's barefoot or wearing sandals? I mean,
yes. For now, it's still attached. We haven't got any news. I did get some notifications from our team of correspondents, which also followed us here. It's worldwide. We get informants everywhere and reporters everywhere giving us the latest scoop.
Refer to them as your
correspondents.
Yes,
that's what they are.
My team of correspondents.
Because it is what they are. I mean, I would call them a team of snitch, but that has some connotations that I don't like.
It's like in Game of Thrones when Varys calls his spies his little birds.
I just love it. Like Max is here. It's like, and over our team of correspondents at the toe, What does it smell like? Goat cheese.
Yes.
By the way, John, I have to say I absolutely love your use of the word doxastic. Doxastic
yeah.
is one of my favorite words. I only have the best words, the greatest words.
Because it has an X and everything that
Nobody
has
knows
X's,
words like me.
Like Max,
I like,
it's the best.
Max got all greasy and wet a few months ago when I used the word defenestrate.
Ooh, love that. Love
that's nice,
defenestration. Whenever you find, like, you're looking for something and you find that one word that describes specifically what you mean, I get like tickles in my brain. I love that.
Oh, that's a big
Alrighty,
deal.
we are going to Emma made the song, which I was very badly singing along without you guys hearing it. It's a song about reminiscing the time where Kat bit my freaking nose on stream. So I'm going to try and play that, and hopefully everyone will hear it. It's from Zuno, and this just happened, so it has no video, but we will see you on the next one, trying to get some plans going on for the week, but we will have an after show for the debate between Mordwan, Sea Lion Prime, and Shame the Blob, Shame Saint Plagiaire, probably on this topic, on the Celestial Theodolite, so we'll keep grinding at it. Thank you everyone for being here. I am very grateful for the support, for you actually being here, all the messages that I've got, all the financial support already that everyone has given out to start the channel. So thank you everyone. We'll catch you on the next one. Pable, who is also from Uruguay. Uruguay. And we'll catch you on the next one. Give me just a sec to play that. I will ask you guys if you can mute yourselves, because the echo, to pull the sound out, I have to do the thing that causes the echo. So we'll catch you on the next one. We'll close and I'll keep on here dancing. Take care until the next one. Good night all.
Good night. Good night.
Max is streaming like it's hot and bright. Got guests discussing day and through the night. Philosophers, debunkers all in stride, unaware of the dangers lurking close inside. A furry shadow YouTube chat holds its breath. A whisker twitching, promising swift death to Max's nose. Oh, my cat! He's biting, he's clinging, he won't let go. Right there on his nose, putting on a show. Max screams out loud, disrupting the flow. Oh, my cat! Oh, my cat. Please let go. Dr. J is citing verses old and wise, talking about the heavens right before Max's eyes. He points a finger, making his bold case. Then a fluffy missile launches at Max's face. Fangs find purchase, a furry dangly weight, leaving Max to scream and seal his fate. Oh, my cat! He's biting, he's clinging, he won't let go. Right there on his nose, putting on a show. Max screams out loud, disrupting the flow. Oh, my cat! Oh, my nose! Please let go. Issa and John debunking flat earth lies, showing curvature beneath the digital skies. They're proving globes, the signs crystal clear, when a sudden frantic yelp assaults the ear. A wrestling match right in the camera frame. The nose biter's back, it's always the same. Oh, my cat! He's biting, he's clinging, he won't let go. Right there on his nose, putting on a show. Max screams out loud, disrupting the flow. Oh, my cat! My damn nose! Let go! Batman drops cups and doing what Batmen do, suckling on a joint, maybe one or two. Perhaps the cat just caught a wicked whiff, or maybe Max's nose offers a tasty sniff. Another lunge, a lightning fast attack, there's no escaping, there is no turning back. Oh, my cat, he's biting, he's clinging, he won't let go. Right there on his nose, putting on a show. Max screams out loud, disrupting the flow. Oh, oh, my cat. What damn nose, though? Oh, my cat.
Woohoo! Special thanks to Emma for that song. That was Oh My Cat. An apt description and a very nice. Sometimes AI does put some good songs together. Special thanks to everyone who joined tonight. We're on our way. We're on our way to being 100% back. Oh my cat, indeed. I can't love you more. Thank you everyone for being